Hey everybody, I want to do a short piece on Gardner Field. Gardner Field is 9 miles southeast of Taft, and the field was commissioned in 1941. It was actually built between 1940 and 41, was commissioned in 1941 as a military flight training facility in anticipation of wartime needs. They wanted to train more pilots, and you'll realize that it was commissioned in March, I believe, of 1941, and that was quite a while before we were actually in the war. They started training pilots in October of 1941. The field was decommissioned in 1945, and they used mostly the Stearman type planes, the PT-17 and the BT-13 to train the pilots with out here. And when it was all said and done, they had trained about 5,000 pilots out here and a lot of soldiers. I don't recall the number. I usually write that stuff down, sorry. But in any case, it was a very busy place. It was served by a railroad spur off the Southern Pacific Sunset Branch, which is a couple of miles that way. The field was operated by the United States Army Air Corps Training Command, and when they did officially open it to training, it was October of 1941. There was an event to commemorate its opening that was attended by over 10,000 people, and that's quite a bit. And another little side note here, you'll notice that I'm not using my selfie stick. I have my cousin Sandra with me today, and she's actually shooting me. It's the first time I've done this kind of a thing, so hope you all like it. I'll probably do it some more in the future. But the last class that was graduated from the Gardner Field facility was in January of 1945, and after that it was kept by the military until June of 1948, and in the intervening years it was classified as an emergency unmanned airfield, but I never saw anything that said that it was ever used as such. After that, it was assigned to the Farm Credit Administration. I didn't even know there was such a thing, but that's who took control of the land once the base was completely abandoned, and the Farm Credit Administration reverted it back to the original owners that the Army took the land from to begin with. They were compensated for the time that the Army used it, but it went back to them. And as you can see, it's all farmland now. It began going back to farmland almost immediately. It was over 1,300 acres at one time while it was in operation. And this little stretch here that you can see, right, that you can see out here, is all that's left of the original airfield. This is the ramp. This is where they parked planes. There were never any permanent structures here. Everything was, from what I can read, framework and clapboard type construction, and as soon as they were done, those buildings were all removed. But anyway, the hangars would have been over here somewhere, I imagine. This is the ramp. No remnants of the runways or anything else remains. So, well, let's walk around a little bit and see if there's anything cool to look at. I was at the field a minute ago. I forgot about this. I read about it. It took me a couple of minutes to actually find it because it's kind of hidden under this tree right here. But we are at the intersection of Cadet Road and Basic School Road, or Gardner Field Road is Cadet Road, the same thing. But this little monument, this is where the entrance to the field was. And it's hard to see. It says Gardner Field, 1941 to 1945. It says 985 acres here. The history I read on it said almost 1,400 acres. So, I don't know. 350 civilians employed, 3,050 soldiers trained, 8,916 cadets trained, honoring Major John H. Gardner. So, anyhow, there's the Gardner Field Monument at Cadet Road. Oh, there's another one down here. Dedicated to the memory of John H. Gardner, Major, Air Corps, born at Alamo, California, May 30th, 1896. Died at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, October 15th, 1938. I hope he wasn't in prison. All right. Anyway, that is the Gardner Field Monument. All right. I feel like I'm a geek by doing this, but this little thing right here, this is where they would have tied planes down. They would have had a hook that went through there to a part of the plane on the fuselage or the wing, and that was how they secured planes. It's still how they secure planes. It's still done that way. And oddly enough, I don't see any more out that way, but I'm sure there are. Or even behind us. There's my lovely cousin Sandra. Say hi, Sandra. Hi. But anyway, just thought that was interesting. Oh, cruise on out, see what more we can find. We did find another line of these going all the way out that way to the end of the ramp. I don't know how many planes were ever out here at one time. Probably not a lot, but certainly looks like there were enough to have a couple of rows tie-down spots. And that is looking southeast towards the southern Sierras and the Grapevine. And everybody recognizes Bear Mountain. All right. Move around here a little bit. All right, well, we've walked over here a little way and found this floor and foundation. I don't know, this kind of looks like maybe it was possibly a receiving dock or some sort. Maybe they received supplies, so this may have been a warehouse or something. I don't know. This is concrete. You saw a while ago when we were back over there where the plane tie-downs were, that was all asphalt. This is all concrete. It's the same length. It goes up the same directions. So I'm assuming this is probably, since it's concrete, this is probably where the hangars and some of the other service buildings were. This was a pretty significant structure, it looks like. And you can see there was some sort of structural support here. I was hoping maybe that sometimes they leave dates stamped in concrete. They did not do that here. There are support structures there. Sandra said there's some steps over here. Oh, yep. So this was probably, who knows what this was. But you know what? It was something. And we were discussing that it was odd that this small piece of what was once a facility of over 1,300 acres, that just this little piece right here, which looks like it probably encompasses about 2 acres, maybe less than that, why they didn't tear this up. I guess they just didn't want to go to the expense or trouble of doing it. I would imagine that all those piles out there are probably what's left of the runways. I've Google Earthed this. I can find absolutely no remnant of either any of the runways or the roadbed for the rail spur that served it. It's all been taken over by agriculture. That's a good thing. And as you can see, this is completely surrounded. These are oranges here. Got a couple of fields lying fallow out there, but all this stuff back here is definitely working agriculture. All right, see if we can find anything else interesting. This right here, there was one of these at the other end too. It makes me wonder, this is grooved right here. So it makes me wonder if this wasn't where they had some sliding doors for whatever building was here to open up, and those were the stops at that end and another at that end. All speculation, but that would make sense. All right. Well, come a little further south, we were up there. You can see those blocks up there. That's where we were, by what I was assuming was a hangar or a warehouse or something. And down here a little ways, got this structural work here, this foundations, a lot of bricks. No telling what this was. That is pieces of pipe right there. I don't know if that was water pipe or, I don't know, it was an incinerator. Who knows? They used brick for just about everything back then. But this was definitely part of what was going on. We're gonna cruise over there and scrounge around in that stuff over there, see if we find anything interesting. And I need to correct myself. I said these were oranges when we were standing off over there a minute ago, but they're not. They're lemons. And they are full. These trees are loaded with them. All right. Enough of my agricultural prowess. Ripping up between the trees. I don't know what kind of trees these are. I don't know if these are lemon trees too. They're definitely some kind of tree. But anyway, you can see the different types of sort of piping, enclosed piping right there. Lots of concrete. Sandra and I were talking, and we surmised that they may have just left the old ramp in place to park equipment on at one time. These farms use a great deal of equipment, and back in the day, they used significantly more of it than they do now. So, again, all speculation. But when you're dealing with stuff like this, that's really all you can do for a lot of things. There's the little area where all the bricks are. Looking back up toward old Betsy up there. Okay. Well, that will complete the little tour of what's left of Gardner Field Army Air Corps training facility near Taft, California on the south shore of Buena Vista Lake. I hope you enjoyed it. I know there wasn't a lot of stuff to look at, but I still think the history is interesting. I hope you found it interesting as well. And as always, if you have any information about this that I've left out, feel free to leave that in the comments below. And also, as usual, if you have any ideas that you'd like to see me talk about or shoot, again, let me know in the comments below, or shoot me an email, motopoet59@gmail.com, and I'll see what I can do about it. So we're going to sign off. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you like what you see, click on the bell to be notified of future content. All right. See y'all later.